Hey kids, what would you say to having 1,000 friends? What would you say to having 1,000 friends who could have 1,000 different adventures? What would you say to having 1,000 friends
with dead eyes that stare straight
into your soul?
presenting HUGO, Man of 1,000 Faces, the new friend that will be whoever you want him to be,
until he enters your nightmares and haunts your dreams.
HUGO has a disguise for every situation,
until he doesn't, and then he gets mad.
HUGO, Man of 1,000 Faces,
and evil intentions.
Get yours today!
And say goodbye to sleep.
In a world filled with intergalactic space battles, metahuman destruction on a global scale, and psychopathic serial hauntings, there's only one team who can make sense of it all. When your world is overrun with rampant pop culture, call Loop and Larry, Guardians of Geek.
Season 6 explosion, baby! This is our 67th explosion, and we're still excited about it.
Hey everybody, I'm Loop.
And I'm Larry.
And this is Guardians of Geek. This is our 6th season opener, 67 episodes, as Larry just said. And we're back. And this might be one of the earliest episodes we've ever done.
We had so much to talk about, and we're so excited we couldn't wait literally a second longer.
Another second. Just quickly off the top, you'll notice we have a new logo, because every season we try to do a logo based on like some popular like geeky show that or movie that we've watched in our lives. And then we also have t-shirts.
Yes, for the first time. If you'd like a Loop and Larry t-shirt to proudly display your love of pop culture, just send us a message and we can hook you up.
Yep, and a free telephone football phone as well as part of that deal. all from Sports Illustrated. It's great. So yeah, it's awesome. So this is the first time you've got a shirt in the past. You kind of got one done up from our first logo, but this is the first time we've gotten like official shirts,
like matching shirts.
Yeah, I got a black one and a red one. There you go.
I only got a black one, but
yeah.
I'm happy with that. I'm good with that. But they can come in any color you want.
That's right. That's you pick the color.
Thing.
We'll make the shirt. That's how it goes. So.
That is the exciting thing.
Well, let's jump right into it. Let's go right into Top Pop. This is where we talk about geeky things that we have done or doing or excited about. Let's hit it right now.
Hey kids, it's time for Loop and Larry's Totally Tubular Top Pop!
All right, this is Top Pop, and as I said, this is where we kind of geek out over things and talk about things we've been doing that are kind of geeky, and usually most of the things we do are very geeky. So first off, let's talk about Fan Expo, because this is the big sort of like geek convention that's in Canada. It's the biggest one in I don't know how, it's the second biggest one in North America or
something. I think it's the third biggest after San Diego and New York.
Okay.
So yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like 100,000 people over 4 days, or it could be, I don't know what the numbers are now.
More, but it's big.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. So we went to that in end of August. And what were your thoughts, Larry, on this one?
Well, so this is the first year I feel like that they're really back 100% since COVID, because they came back last year, but it was kind of half capacity and half the vendors and but this year was 100% back to full capacity, full on Comic-Con. So it was, I thought it was exciting to be back into that whole thing. Having 100,000 people around, it felt like going home again. It was really cool. I thought it was good. I was excited to be there. However, there were a lot of celebrity cancellations this year.
A lot.
Lurch.
There were a lot, and there's some big ones too. Some pretty big names that I think a lot of people base their tickets buying around. And really, it is a Comic-Con. It's supposed to be about the vendors and the comics, but then obviously it's expanded into video games and everything else. I love the vendors portion of it as much as the celebrity portion, but the celebrity portion does draw people for sure.
It does. It does. And this year they had a late announcement of Millie Bobby Brown. She was going to be coming, which was huge. Like that was going to be the big draw. They had Chevy Chase and Anthony Michael Hall, Dana Barron, and Christy Brinkley from National Lampoon's Vacation. They had Gwendolyn Christie. They had Christina Ricci. And I had tickets, photo ops, and Hayden Christensen was coming. I had tickets to panels and photo ops with all of them, and they all canceled. So Hayden Christensen didn't cancel, but because of the SAG strike, he canceled his panel. So that ticket was out the window. Chevy Chase got sick like 2 days before, got the pneumonia. He canceled, so that ticket was out the window. Millie Bobby Brown canceled 2 weeks after they announced her. So
it was weird.
Gone. And then Gwendolyn Christie was doing a photo duel with Christina Ricci because of Wednesday. Gwendolyn Christie canceled, so that photo op that I paid for was gone.
Every time I talked to you, like someone that you had bought for had canceled, like everyone, like it was, I couldn't believe it. Like, and I had a bunch and none of them canceled.
Oh, I rolled the dice and I came up snake eyes. It was terrible. I don't know if that's a dice thing or not.
I don't know if that is. I really don't. The funny part was with the vacation one, like they already didn't have the mom who was, I can't remember her name off the,
I was going to say Olivia Dabo, but that's not right.
No. But she wasn't there, so they replaced her with Christy Brinkley. But without Chevy Chase, it's not really a vacation reunion.
No, not
Beverly D'Angelo. There you go.
Beverly D'Angelo. Thank you. Yes, that's no, it wasn't. And that was, so I was going to do the photo op with the four of them because I'm a huge fan of Vacation, but I was like, I couldn't pull the trigger because the mom wasn't there. But then Chevy Chase, so I thought, okay, I'll just get Chevy Chase because he's a legend. I know people are not thrilled with him anymore because he's kind of gone off the deep end and says things that aren't appropriate, whatever, but like he's just a legend. And I thought, okay, I'll just get his photo op. Well, no, that was gone too. So, I did go to the panel with the rest of the National Lampoon's group, but again, because of the SAG strike, they couldn't talk about National Lampoon's Vacation, and so really they didn't have anything to talk about.
That's bizarre. Like the movie's like 40 years old. Like they couldn't talk about it. Like
no, it was really strange. They couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't.
The SAG strike really loomed over this thing, eh? Like that was, and it's no fault of Fan Expo, but it just happened to be that way.
Well, and that's why Hayden Christensen's panel was canceled, because he said, I can't talk about Star Wars, so I want you to pay $200 to come and sit in this panel and me not say anything. So he canceled it. So a little bit sad, but.
And who did you get any photo ops? I think you got a few.
I got one photo op with Brian Baumgartner, who played Kevin on The Office. And the only reason I did that was because I could do this.
And you kind of look like him, and that's like,
and I kind of a little bit look like him.
That's a classic photo. If you're watching this, you can see it right now. If you're not watching this and you're listening to it, you're missing out because this is classic. And both of us got Anthony Michael Hall. I got like the pro shot. You got one at the table, right?
Just at the table, and that was a last minute thing too, because he had nobody. Anthony Michael Hall, like this is Anthony Michael Hall. I thought that he'd be a kind of a draw. I thought a lot of people would want to talk to him. He had nobody at his table, and I just felt guilty. So I kind of went up and
guilty.
It's like,
I'm sure he had people at points depending, like, because there was points I walked by and there was lots of people at his table.
Oh, were there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it just depended what the group was and whatever. Like I'm a huge, like, of all the classic movies he did, Weird Science is like my top one. Like I love Weird Science, and so I was super excited when I saw he was going to be there. And he's one of those celebrities that who really changed from a kid to, like, he really turned into an adult. So he doesn't, like, there's features of him in there, but he doesn't look like, some kids still kind of look like them as adults. He's one of them that doesn't. Like he looks like a full adult, like completely different.
He looks like somebody's dad.
Yeah, but I remember him from like Dead Zone too, like you know,
Yeah.
like that show, and he was in the most like I think this not the most recent Halloween, maybe the one before. He was in, I
Yeah.
think he was in one of the he was in one of the Halloweens for sure. So
Yeah.
I think it was the second last one, which was pretty cool. So I yeah, I definitely got his, and then I got who else did I get? I got like the Office, all the Office
Oh, yep.
cast, like so there was 3 of them there. It was like Meredith, Stanley, and Kevin. I got
Yep.
them.
Yep.
Christina Ricci, I got from obviously Wednesday Yellow Jackets. Anthony Michael Hall. I've got Ming-Na Wen from Boba Fett and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I'm a big fan of hers.
Yes, yeah.
And then I got at the last second, here's another one where no one was at his table just at that moment. So I got Harvey Gilead from What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, nice.
So which was cool. Like because I love that show. Like it's like so good. So I was able, and that point no one was there, so I was able to ask him some questions about the show and how they shoot it and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of cool. So
I love when you like are so excited about a celebrity and really want to meet them, but apparently nobody else does. So when you get there, there's nobody else in line. So you actually get that like 5 minutes that you can stand and talk to your celebrity, and they're happy to talk because they're not doing anything else. Like,
they're airing. It's like they don't like it's. I mean, depending on the questions you ask, they're usually pretty good at answering most stuff. Like he didn't really talk about like what was going on in the show, obviously, because he couldn't. But I asked him just about like how they shoot it and how much was improv and stuff like that, and that stuff he could answer. So
yeah, exactly. I think that's fun. So because we are such fans of like 80s and 70s stuff, when those celebrities show up at places, there's a pretty good chance we're going to be able to sit and talk to them for a minute.
Yeah.
Because they're not as popular as we think they are.
It's pretty cool. I mean, everybody has different impact on like your life, right? Like different actors do. Like there's people that like actors I don't even hardly know, but they grew up with them in whatever capacity. So it's pretty cool to see like who people like really like gravitate to at the shows, because usually it's always there's some crossover, but it's always different people depending on what you watch.
Yeah, and that's what's so fun about Fan Expo is just seeing what other people are into. And we comment on this every year when we're watching the cosplay people walk around. Like I'd say like half of the people are cosplaying as anime characters that we've never heard of, don't know anything about, but there's such a huge fan base for them. And I find that really cool, is that there's a huge fan base for stuff that we don't even know about.
Yeah, no,
which means that there's more out there that we could geek out about that we have.
I know, but it's you got to put a cap on it at some point because it gets too crazy when you start getting into too much stuff. So what else was been going on? What else have you been geeking out about?
So I just recently, for whatever reason, I'm not 100% sure why. Oh, I know why. I've reignited my passion for the Chucky franchise. I think it's because Halloween is coming up, scary movie season, and also they just released The Bride of Chucky on 4K for the first time on 4K Blu-ray. So I was really excited about that. So because I am who I am, I decided to buy the entire franchise on 4K Blu-ray.
Oh my god!
Even though awesome. I've got them on Blu-ray, I've got them on VHS, I've got them on.
I know.
You have to get the 4K Blu-ray.
You really do.
Yeah, because I got all 7 movies. Then of course I had to buy season 1 and season 2 of the TV show, which I've never actually watched.
I've watched both seasons.
Yes, and you have. And so here's the thing I want to mention really quick. So when the first season of Chucky came out, I watched the first episode and I hated it. Do you remember we talked about this on?
Yeah, that was one of your worst picks of the year.
Yes, I was so upset that Chucky killed a guy by vomiting on him. I was like, that's not. And I was so annoyed by that. And so then I stopped watching after the first episode because I was like, no, this is no good. So now that I'm like all excited about Chucky again, I thought, okay, I'll give it another shot. I binged the entire first season in 2 days, and I love it.
It's good actually. I thought it was pretty good. Like
it was so good. And what I liked about it was that they were obviously sort of making fun of themselves, like they knew they weren't taking it overly seriously. Plus, there's a ton of references to other horror movies in this series. Like at one point, Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly, is driving an old Plymouth, which turns out to be the same car that Freddy Krueger drives at the end of.
Yep.
Do you remember? So she's driving Freddy Krueger's car. And then in one of the episodes, they do a flashback to when Tiffany and Charles Lee Ray, who becomes Chucky, hook up, and they move into their first apartment. And when they open the door to their first apartment, the number on the door is 237.
Oh yeah,
Shining.
from The Shining. Yeah, that's right. I saw that documentary. Actually, it's pretty cool.
Yes. So they're throwing in all these like Easter eggs for other horror franchises or other horror properties, and I just thought that was awesome. I thought that was really well done, and just the fact that they bring back everybody from like Andy Barclay from the original, all of these people from all the different movies make appearances in this, and I didn't give it enough time the first time around to realize that. So now I'm a huge fan of the touch.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm taking back my worst show of the year comment.
Well, sometimes you got to give things a second chance.
You do. So maybe this year I'll go back to the
or a chance at all, because you only watched like one episode. So
yeah. So I might go back to the Dark Crystal this year. We're not sure. I don't know.
Wow, we'll see.
Anyway, that was pretty exciting.
That's awesome. I love how you bought the whole thing. I love how you bought the whole thing. That's a classic geek move right there. When you just go and buy the whole thing.
Well, and Amazon had it all, so it all came within like 2 days. Now I've got
that's
everything.
Awesome, beautiful. It almost makes me want to cry. It's so good. I know. So mine is I don't know why I didn't know this was coming out, and I just discovered it the other day, and I had no clue that this was even a movie. Thanksgiving, directed by Eli Roth, is coming out. I had no clue that he was actually making a movie based on the original trailer from Grindhouse, and I was like so excited. And now it doesn't look grindhousey like the trailer did, but it still looks pretty good. Like I watched the trailer and I was like, this actually looks pretty fun. And Eli Roth is like, to me, like, you know, he knows his horror, and he knows his history of horror. And this looks like if it works out, this could be like a sequel type movie to me.
I think so too. I felt the same. I didn't know it was coming. Then boom, there it was. I'm like, you're kidding. I mean, when did Grindhouse come out? That was probably 10 years ago.
It was 2007.
Oh, even more than that. It was a long time ago. So it's taken them a long time to put this together. But yeah, I was so excited because that was one of my favorite of those fake trailers in Grindhouse was Thanksgiving. I thought that was so yeah, he's doing it. So that makes me now wonder whether they're gonna eventually make the other fake trailers into movies, because remember there was another one called Don't.
That was my second favorite of those ones. That was had he does the Lego Will Arnett. He does the voiceover for that, and it's so good.
That's right. Yeah, you want to go into the basement? Don't.
It's just so fast. Don't. It's just so good. But yeah, I love the trailer for the original Thanksgiving, and I was like, I always thought this would make an actual really good movie, and so now they're finally making it. So it's released on November 17th. So I am like pumped about this movie. Like, I think it's just going to be awesome.
You know, the two of us are going to go see that together when it
100%. Oh, yeah. Like, there's no doubt. Like, this one actually looks good. Like, I love Eli Roth. Like, I just think it's going to be good.
Too. I just hope that they make it a little bit corny, like a little bit cheesy, like the original trailer was. Because
it kind of looks like it might be.
It might. I'm hoping so. Like, I'm hoping, because the original trailer kind of looked like this from the 70s, almost like that 70s horror.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Grindhouse looking, but it does look kind of has some cheese factor in it. But the thing about that trailer what made me laugh, because I just watched it again today because I hadn't seen it in so long, was that everyone gets decapitated. It's like every person just like it doesn't matter who they are, they're decapitated. Like,
I love it. This is going to be such a good. I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I love when a movie's suddenly coming out that you didn't even know is being made, and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I don't even have to wait that long for it. It's like basically out in like a month. So
yeah, there it is. Yeah, I love this time of year when they when it's like scary movie season and fall's coming and all the horror movies and stuff are coming. There's a lot that are coming out this year like that, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So you had one more thing before we get to pop.
I've got one more thing. So when we ended season 5, I talked real quick about this fitness challenge that I was doing called the.
You say real quick, but it was like I remember when I was editing. It was like 15 minutes.
It was about 15 minutes long. Yeah, I don't have any concept.
I felt like I was on the journey with you when you did.
Yeah, I did it in real time. Actually, how same amount of time it took me to do the challenge. So anyway. So at that time, I had one more stage. This was the Lord of the Rings fitness challenge where you get a medal for every stage that you do. So this was the first medal. that was the Fellowship of the Ring. So I had to travel the amount of distance between that the hobbits took from out of the Fellowship into their next part of the journey, and you get this medal at the end of the journey, and it has in it the actual One Ring. So it's this
that's
medal.
wild. That's really cool.
Yeah, you can't really see it very well, but it actually has the you can't really see it, but it actually has the elven inscription on it. Anyway, so it came in this first medal. And then when you finish the challenge, the last stage of the challenge is actually Mordor, where you're taking the ring, the One Ring, up Mount Doom, and you have to drop it in the thing. So I had to travel the distance between the start of Mordor and the end of Mordor, which was like 64 kilometers. It wasn't a huge one. Anyway, I have now finished that, so I have officially destroyed the ring. And then you get this one, which is Mordor on here. And then the way this works is you've gotten the ring from the Fellowship, or from the Shire where you're getting it, and then you get this medal, you open it up, and then you put the ring in to Mordor and drop it down.
That's awesome.
So the ring actually goes into Mount Doom in real life.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
So it's just a really cool. It was like the geekiest possible thing I could do to stay healthy. So anyway, challenge is completed.
Got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do.
So it took me 15 months and 2,920 kilometers, and now I've destroyed the One Ring. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Okay, Gimli. Well, you know what we should do is we should keep traveling and then just travel right to the pop capacitor.
That's a good plan.
Here we are. This is the pop capacitor. We usually go back and look at a movie or TV show or a toy or something that from our past, and then see if it still holds up, basically. And we always talk about doing toys. We've never done, in the 5 seasons of this show, never done a toy in the whole history of the show. Even though we're going to do a toy.
Even though every time you introduce a pop capacitor, every single time you say, we're going to talk about a toy, and we never do. So we thought, let's start season 6 we're going to stop lying to people, and we're going to just do it.
And lying to ourselves, really. So we're going to do a toy. He's right behind me. He's Hugo, the man of 1,000 faces. And there he is there.
There's another one. So first off, we have to apologize to anybody who's listening to the podcast on Podbean or someplace else, because this is kind of visual. We're actually holding the original Hugo dolls, and we're going to be showing some accessories. So if you can flip over to the YouTube version, unless this totally creeps you out, you might not actually want to see this thing.
This thing is frightening. And mine, actually, I bought mine at like a toy store, so called Dark Matter and St. Thomas, and it someone had drawn on it with marker, so I've gotten most of it off. That's why mine's like very, like, the face is very red. You see where you can see,
and you're missing the little bow tie. You're missing a little tie.
Oh, a little tie, yeah. So mine's not like complete. It's like, but I never had this as a kid, so this is one of those things. So this came out in 1975. Kenner put it out, and of course Kenner also did all the Star Wars figures. He's for those listening, a bald-headed, nondescript man with a torso and arms, and you can put disguises on him via a glue stick, and there's apparently over 1,000 combinations, and he kind of looks like Larry's doing it right now, and he kind of looks like Mini-Me a little bit.
Yes. He actually looks like Mini-Me.
Yeah, he does look like you. There's like some of the things inside are sideburns, goatee, eyebrows, noses, chins, scars, warts, eyes, and eye patch, sunglasses, eyeglasses, a mask, a head bandage, mustaches, fangs, and a wig.
And apparently the nose of a pig for some reason.
Yes, yeah. He's not really pig nose. Looks like, I was just watching SCTV, and they do these characters who are like, they cut meat and they cut film, and it's like Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, and they have those. And the box on it says, "Make thousands of pretend friends."
That's terrible.
I know. This is for kids that can't sleep at night, and
Oh, it does. It says easily change the skies and fit you and your puppet, and create thousands of pretend friends. What? Apparently, you don't have any of your own friends, so you've got to make thousands of fake ones. I don't know.
So we'll do some hits and misses on this toy. And again, I never had this as a kid, and I knew people that had it. Yeah, it's also a puppet as well. So
it is a puppet. So let me just say, this one that I'm holding is my original HUGO from 1975, or probably got it. It came out in 75. Is that what we said?
Yeah, 75.
75. It's 75. I probably got it maybe a year or two later. But this is my original HUGO. This is the whole. I'm only missing a pair of glasses and a couple of warts. I've got all the accessories, and I cleaned him up, so he's all shiny and nice. Yeah, he actually looks pretty good. Yeah, he's been in part of my family since 1975.
Hidden in your basement since 1975.
Yes.
I'll give you my glasses because I don't have a full set anyways, so I'll give you the glasses I have, and then all you need is some warts.
Yep, perfect. I do have a couple of warts. The warts are really tiny. I don't know if you can kind of see them though. They're really small, and they would like just stick on his head or someplace. I don't know. Now I've lost the wart.
Okay, the wart is now lost, and now you need an extra wart. So, all right. So let's start hits and misses. I'm gonna start with a hit on this this toy. So remember, like, keep in mind, like, we were when these came out 75, so we were like 5 or 6, but it hung around for like probably till like early 80s, like that it was still kind of hanging around. There's very little information on this, by the way. Like, it's kind of odd because it's like there's not even a Wikipedia page for it, which surprised me. So
it's an iconic thing. Like, everybody knows HUGO, but I don't know how, because the other thing we tried to look up was an original TV commercial, because I'm sure that there was one. I'm
positive I remember seeing one.
Neither of us could find any commercials posted anywhere on YouTube or anywhere for HUGO. I don't know where they all went, or if we're just dreaming this, but there's literally no record that this thing was ever advertised. I don't know.
I can find very little information on him, like history wise or whatever. And he's like, again, like I consider him kind of iconic. Like, not everybody had him, but everybody sort of knew of someone that knew him or that had one. Like, it's just an odd toy. My first hit is the whole concept of putting disguises on HUGO. And the way they marketed it from what I remember, is somewhat of like a spy. Like, so you'd put these disguises on them. And to me, anything that was a spy was like intriguing as a kid, and disguises seemed intriguing as a kid. So I thought like the idea of HUGO was pretty cool. Like the concept of him.
I totally agree. I think, and now that you've said spy, that I seem to remember that might have been what a commercial involved. Like, from what I remember of the TV commercials, obviously we haven't seen them in almost 50 years. They don't exist anymore. But I seem to remember that you're right, that is how it was marketed, as if he was a spy for some reason. Like, I don't know what kind of spy requires Dracula fangs, but
hey, when in Transylvania, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I read somebody, I was reading, like, went down the rabbit hole, and I read somebody said that they seem to remember from the commercial, because this is a big thing online. Like, people cannot find this commercial, and no one seems to have any access to it. But one of the things someone said was they remembered in the commercial, whoever did the voiceover did sort of like a European sort of like voiceover, so it had like a spy kind of feel to it. So and then what, of course, he said that, so now I feel like that's what I heard too. But it does seem familiar to me that's what it was. Like,
that would totally make sense. I would buy that. That's why he's a man of 1,000 faces. He's got to change his look so he can capture the bad guy in Europe.
Yes, that's right. In Europe specifically. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've got a hit that kind of goes along with that. It's just the whole, like, your imagination was the limit with this. I mean, there literally are like a dozen different accessories that you can put on this thing in any kind of combination. So, for example, it comes with a chin that looks like this. It's like a big cleft chin. But I realized today you can also put it on its head, and then he looks like an alien from the Twilight Zone.
He does. You can
know,
put that chin anywhere. It's like
you really could. I don't
it's
know,
a
but
thousand. You got 1,000 possibilities and
yeah,
combinations.
I discovered this one today, and I thought I've never done that one before. So it's still intriguing. Yeah, it's just all pure imagination, and because it doesn't really move, like it's a puppet, but you literally just put your hand up inside there. You can see there's no, like, you can't move your hand, you can't move his arms around or anything. It's just you stuff your hand up there.
Never say put it up inside there again, please, for everybody. Do not Google
How
that.
about stuff it up inside? No, I can't.
No, that's not good either.
Okay, I won't.
Nothing sounds good about this whatsoever.
No, it doesn't really.
But no, I know what you're saying. Like there's just something intriguing about like putting disguises on there, and it was just like however you wanted, all the combinations you could do. It was very, very cool.
Yeah, I love that. I thought that was great. All right, so that's gonna lead me into my first miss.
Okay.
And I could be wrong about this, but since there's no advertising, and I don't think I am, they'd never released additional accessory packs. Like, I feel like, at least I don't think that they did. I don't recall ever seeing that you could just go to the store and buy like an additional set of eyes, or, you know, more glasses or different kind of wig. Like, I think that was, they dropped the ball on that, and it may be because it didn't sell very well that they didn't keep putting accessories out. But I feel like if you were able to go to the store and buy like a blonde wig, or, you know, because right now he comes with this piece of work right here. There you go. There he comes with that.
I think I had that haircut as a kid.
But yeah, the nice thing is it works on me too. There you go. There, perfect.
That actually kind of looks like your real hair.
It kind of does. That's not a bad look for me, really.
Well, that was one of the things. We'll talk about this in a bit, but the fact that you could put those disguises on, but
Yes.
that's hilarious.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, if you had been able to go to the store and buy additional accessory packs, I think this thing would have like gone on a lot longer, and a lot more people would have been into it. You could have just done so much more if they had released more,
like Barbie or whatever. There have been like accessory packs, or GI Joe, and you could have just added more to them.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe I don't know how he sold, but I know a lot of people that own him, so he must have sold decently. Like,
I feel like he did. Like, I mean, I think I think he did. I don't recall there ever being accessory packs. Now, I mean, if anybody who's listening to this, if you know differently, please let us know, because I'd love to see if there's some additional packs out there, because now I'm obsessed with it again. So if I could find an additional pack, I'll buy it. I don't think there was.
I can't get over that hair on your head. That's hilarious.
I know. It's kind of distracting, isn't it? It's a good thing.
But one of my misses is that he's scary as hell. That's one of my misses. He's almost creepy because he's bald, and he's very nondescript, but he has almost like a slightly inviting face at the same time. But his eyes stare into your soul. Like,
well, they do. And you know what? I didn't realize until today when I was looking at it, the eyes are a separate piece that have been put in there. Like, if you look closely, they're like set in to the, you can see they're set in there, and they've got like gleam. So they look kind of real, but they don't move, and he doesn't, it's terrifying. I actually had one of my misses says nightmare fuel. Because he's like kind of terrifying,
but he's almost too blank slate. He's like just like terrifying looking.
Yeah, because he's not smiling, but he's got a kind of a little bit of a smirk kind of thing.
There's something about him that's like devious looking. Like,
yes, like, what is he thinking? He looks almost like a mad scientist. Like, what is he coming up with? What kind of nefarious scheme is he plotting right now?
When I bought mine from the store, so the person that owns Dark Matter put it up on the socials that he had one, so I went right there and got it. And he said he just wanted it out of his store because it was creeping him out. Like, it always looked like it was looking at him all the time.
Well, I
went and did a series of black and white photos with him of like me and him hanging out, like me and Hugo hanging out, and it was hilarious. If I have them, I'm posting them now. But
that's hilarious. I had this thing sitting out beside me while I was working today, just sitting at my desk, and I literally had to move it to the floor because I couldn't concentrate as this thing was there. I was like, I'm just like, okay, stop looking at me. It's so bizarre looking. Yeah, it is definitely nightmare fuel. but
Mine's almost worse because I have the like the remnants of
Yes.
marker on it. So it looks.
I said yours looks like it's been in some sort of cat fight. Like it looks like it's so like beat up. But that leads me into a hit.
Okay.
So we've sort of talked about this before, where the origins of our love of horror movies came from. And we've determined a couple of times that it's come from different things. We thought first it came from Hilarious House of Frightenstein, because that was in the early 70s and that was kind of horror based. So we thought that's probably where our like love of horror came from. But I kind of feel like it might have been this.
Yeah,
Like,
it would definitely be part of it for
like,
sure.
seriously, like this is like he's terrifying. Look at this crazy mask.
He's
Like
he's almost creepier without the stuff on. Like, is this?
Yes. And like he's got this like now his eye has been sewn shut. Like, why would they give you that? Like, I don't. Can you see that? That is terrifying.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, but I feel like this might have been part of between Hilarious House of Frightenstein and Hugo. I feel like this might be where our passion for horror came from without even realizing it, because it's so terrifying.
It is a terrifying doll, and anyone that's come over and seen it's been like, why do you have that on display? It's like it's absolutely terrifying. I'm surprised no one's made a movie with this yet.
Yes, this would be a fantastic horror movie.
It would be really good.
Yeah,
I did find some footage of Pee Wee Herman using it in in a stand-up sketch. Like
really?
when he's like in his early days, like he had like a sort of a Pee Wee's Playhouse like kind of live thing, and he'd use this as a doctor that would hypnotize people. Like it was pretty.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, you're right. Yeah, he's a perfect character for a horror movie. He's like a more sophisticated Chucky.
Yes.
Right? Like if somebody possessed...
Why is he saluting me right now? I don't even
know. I don't know. He has a mind of his own. Yeah. So I think that was a hit for me, is that I think that like we enjoy things like this because we grew up with things like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one of my hits is that is my only other hit for him, but it doesn't mean that it's like, you know, it's not doesn't define what I think of it, but it's got a kind of a kick-ass box. Like I think that the packaging for this is actually really cool.
It is.
Like,
it is.
As a kid, like if you get this and like it's huge.
It is. It's huge and it's really cool. Yeah, the colors are cool. The images are like, look at that.
Yeah, it's wild. Like there's a lot of like photos on the box. If you're listening, of like just Hugo in all sorts of different like disguises. There's a kid playing with Hugo on the front. Hugo has since strangled that child. And then in his sleep, and then but it's just so cool. Like it's just a great box. Like it is huge. Like if you're a kid in the 70s getting that gift, it's just massive. Like it just looks so cool.
Look at how creepy he is.
He is so creepy.
Glasses and a weird wig on him. He's just terrifying. Yeah,
he kind of looks. He looks very like, no matter all the different like looks, he looks European or British in like many of the looks.
He does. Oh, he totally does.
Or Russian, or like he does. There's not one like.
That's me.
That looks exactly like you.
It's totally me. Oh yeah, I need to get those glasses from you because I've got the sideburns. I can totally do that.
That's awesome.
Yes, he does. He looks very European. He's totally a man of mystery, this guy.
Yeah. There are some of the looks on there are slightly offensive in this day and age, but
they are. Yep.
We'll leave it at that. He is Hugo. Hugo doesn't care who he offends or who he scares.
That's right. I mean, you don't know who he's going after. He's going after the bad guys. I don't know what they look like.
The 1970s bad guys. That's who he's going after.
Exactly. I just want to point out too, talking about horror, for some reason, it also came with this piece of cloth that's a head wound. It's got this bloody piece on it that you wrap around his head. So
I don't know why he needs to have a head wound.
Why would he have a head wound? I don't know. But he does. That's another thing that came with it. I don't know. All right. So okay, I'll give another hit.
Okay.
So I feel like in the early 70s when he came out, he was sort of the, I mean, this isn't how we think about things today, but I feel like at the time he was kind of like the anti-Barbie. So he was like the boys version of Barbie, because you know what, the Barbie in the 70s, or maybe it was in the 80s, I don't remember, was just a bust. They had like a bust version where
Yeah, you could do her hair and
yeah,
whatnot.
do her hair, put makeup on her, do whatever. This is kind of like that. Like he's just a bust, and you could put hair on him, you could put glasses, you do things. He's kind of like the anti-Barbie, which was kind of cool. It kind of balanced out, you know, the toy market somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that was a cool alternative, or a cool, like, you know, there's the beautiful Barbie, you can do all this stuff, and then there's the grotesque Hugo, who you can you can dress up as well. You can take your choice, whichever appeals. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I thought it was kind of cool that was, they're kind of comparable, sort of, in that way. I guess
I have another miss.
all right.
And I think it's the elephant in the room on this one. It's the glue stick.
Oh my gosh.
The glue stick is disgusting.
Yeah.
It always seemed like, so it's a stick of glue, but it always seemed like it was melting, like all the time. It was very gross. Look at that thing.
Yeah, it is horrible.
That's the original glue stick, right? Like,
this is the original glue stick. I don't know why, but I have two of them. This one's even worse.
Ew. It always seemed like it was always melting.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. It's so, and little pieces of hair stick to it. Like, this is so rude.
It had a weird odor to it as well. I seem to remember.
It totally does.
And the thing is, they keep pushing all the time that it's non-toxic. It's like the
I looked
quote
on the
unquote
box.
non-toxic glue stick.
I looked on the box, and I don't recall. I don't see anywhere where it says non-toxic, but maybe they didn't put that on in 1970.
I saw ads that said it. Like, there was ads in comics and stuff, and there was ads that said like non-toxic glue stick. The thing is, though, asbestos was supposed to be good for you too, and it wasn't. So
this is true. So I've got a little story about this. That's probably going to disturb a lot of people.
Oh no.
So last time I brought this out was when my son was probably 6 or 7, because I was like, oh, he's old enough, I can show it to him. This is pretty fun. And so this was probably 10 years ago. And I took out all the accessories, and I hadn't taken it out before, like in years before that. So all the accessories and stuff were covered in that brown goop. And we were playing with it. We were sticking it on the dining room table, because that's where we were. Anyway, we finished cleaning up. Everything was good. We put them all away. And then we had dinner that night, and we finished dinner, and I was like wiping off the table. I saw a little crumb on the table, and instead of wiping it up, I just popped it in my mouth, because I thought it was a piece of my dinner. Nope. It was a hunk of Hugo.
How are you alive to tell this tale?
I don't know. It was literally one of the most vile moments of my entire life.
What did it taste like?
I just ate the glue. Like, I don't think I ate the glue when I was little. Like, I waited until my 40s to eat the glue.
Oh, you would do that.
I don't know. I was so panicked. I totally thought I was going to die. I was like, should I call poison control? But how are they going to know how are they going to know how to handle the glue from Hugo from 1975? They're not going to know what that is.
I feel like that glue was made like in a special lab, and no one really knows what was made out of. It was so gross. It was so like, it was solid, but not at the same time. It was just bizarre.
It's just
You're
so
lucky to still be alive after eating that glue.
I know. Like, it, not only did I eat it, like I swallowed it, like it's in me, like it went down inside me. No, that was 10 years ago.
And who pops a crumb?
I don't know.
That's a new phrase now, popping a crumb. Just popping a crumb off the table.
I just popped a crumb. That was the last crumb I ever popped, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, God. That's vile. That stuff is so gross.
Yeah, it was disgusting. So today, when I unpacked him, at the time I cleaned off his head, so he's been looking like this for a long time. Today I unpacked all of the accessories, and they were literally like covered in that goop. This is another chin, by the way. Right. And so I actually spent about that's a good looking look right there. I actually spent about 15 minutes fortunately the stuff melts and washes off. I spent about 50 minutes completely scrubbing down all of the accessories so that I could touch them, because I was like, I'm not gonna get now. Anyway, so now my Hugo's back to feeling like new again.
Now I feel like that glue might have been like a new Hugo seed, and now you got a Hugo growing in you now.
That would not surprise me in the least.
Growing out of your back or whatever.
Yeah, it could very well have been like that. Was just, I don't know what was wrong with me. I don't know, but that was a horrible experience. So I'm hoping that the non-toxic that you saw was accurate, because
we'll find out. We will find out.
Yes.
Your
Anyway,
test case number one. I'm sure some kid ate that glue as a kid. I'm sure they did.
100% they did. Well, but the whole thing with Hugo is that you could put the accessories on your own face. Like, they actually advertised that on the box. Like, you could put the hair, you could put the stuff on, so you know that somebody covered this chin in glue and stuck it on Hugo, and then went, hey, that would look good on me, and went bonk and stuck it on themselves. Or the teeth. They put the teeth on Hugo, covered it in glue, and were like, hey, I could do that, and stuck it in their mouth. Like, of course they did that.
So disgusting. That was the worst part of this whole thing for me, was the glue, because the glue, it was what that kind of glue too that never really goes away, so it's always sort of sticky, and then it gets on your hands and you can't get it off. It's like, it was like the blob.
Like the residue. Yes.
It just keeps growing and expanding.
It does. It leaves a weird residue. Like, I've even got the original instructions that came with this, and you can see, I don't know if you can kind of see that
it's upside down.
Like,
turn it over.
There we go. You can kind of see that it's got that glue residue all over.
It's burnt its way through the paper.
Yeah. Like, and there's no getting that. But see here, look, here's like a picture of the kid. They're encouraging you to stick the stuff to your face. Well, that kid's got that mustache stuck to his face, obviously with the same glue. How else has he got it on there?
And now he's missing a chin after it's eaten away at his flesh over like 30 years.
Terrible.
Oh my god,
it's
bad.
so yeah. Here's how to apply the glue: is you wrap it all the way around the outside, and then you stick it to your own face.
No.
That's nasty. It's just nasty. I don't know. Yeah, that was actually my last miss. I had written down toxic glue. So we're on the same page with the hits and misses on this one.
I think I don't really have any more misses. I just have like some wrap up, but other than that.
All right, let's wrap this puppy up.
Okay, so do you think this still holds up today?
Yes, I think, like, for the creepy, I think it's changed now though. As adults, I think now it's the creepy factor.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like, it's enjoyable because it's like, I actually went and bought one because it's like, I've never had one as a kid, and it's so creepy looking.
Yeah. So here's another real quick story about how creepy it is. When Loop and I go to Fan Expo or Comic-Con, stop it. We go with two of our friends, Mike and Andrew. For whatever reason, for a couple of years, Andrew decided to bring his Hugo with him.
It was Mike that brought it. Mike had.
Was it Mike who brought? Okay, yeah. Mike brought his Hugo with him and would like stick, because we'd share a hotel room. Would stick it in the bed, so you'd like come home, and you'd get in the bed, and this Hugo would be lying there on your pillow. It was horrible. It was horrifying, but it's a lot of fun.
We should all bring our Hugos like this
year.
We
really should have a Hugo convention. Yeah. Yes, I think it totally holds up, because it is. Now there's obviously the nostalgia of it, but it's so creepy and weird that there's just nothing like it anywhere else. Like, it's just such a unique toy. What do you think?
Oh my god. Yeah, I think it was super unique, and I think now, looking back at how creepy it was, I think it makes it better. I think it's more exciting to have one, because it's just such a piece to talk about. If someone comes over, they're like, either they remember. When I bought this, I posted it, and people started posting pictures with their Hugos, because they think everyone seemed to have one, or a lot of people still had them, because it's such a weird toy. It's just a bizarre toy, because it's so weird looking, and I absolutely love it. I think it's just so cool, and but like at the time, I'm like, you look back, as for my own kid to play with it, I'd be like, I don't know. It's kind of like with its toxic glue and everything else. But yeah, I'm going to give it the thumbs up for like standing the test of time, because we're still talking about it now. And it's not like a lost toy that we couldn't stand and we never looked at again. This is like a toy that still sticks with us because it's so weird.
And it's almost 50 years old. Like, this is almost 50 years ago that this thing came out, and it's still entertaining us. Like, that's a pretty big deal. That's why I think you're right. They need to capitalize on this and make a movie. Like, come on. we would be first in line to go see the Hugo movie.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So well, I think Hugo's gotten enough screen time in today. So we'll put Hugo away. He'll just sit and stare at us in the night and while we're sleeping. And
mask back on him there. There we go.
Oh, there you go. And thanks for listening. Again, check out our socials. And again, if you're want a shirt, we do have prices for them and stuff like that. So send us a message and we'll see if we can get you one. And other than that, like, thanks for listening. And this is our first episode. My goal is to do more than we did last season.
That's always our goal. That's our goal.
I think we did like 12 last season or something. It was like our most we've done. So I think we can beat that. We've already started early, which is the first time we've started this early. In fact, I think you had the teaser, which we put on our site like probably like a week ago now, or 4 or 5 days ago. You had the trailer done after, like almost right after last season. You're already set, ready to go.
Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
That's right. We had the logo made up. We had the teaser. We were like, we're gung ho. Season 6 is it, baby. We're in.
We're ready. We're coming to a peak right now. This is like where our peak geekness is happening.
Peak. This is peak geek right now.
So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Loop and Larry, Guardians of Geek.
Bye-bye.
Oh, no. Stop. Please stop.
Produced by Matthew C. Loop and Lawrence Simner. A Loop and Larry production.
Bueller.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Bueller.
Bad news. Fog is getting thicker.
And Leon's getting larger.
Inconceivable.
Brian's right. It's an elf.
Wax on.
Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Wax off.